All right, we're back. Sorry that took a moment. We're still getting the players sorted out with the paperwork, or I guess electronics that has to happen for them to be paid for and awarded for what they do today. Anyway, we are about to begin the top 8, and we're bringing in for the first time to our show Eli Loveman. How you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So you are our first guest who has won a Pro Tour.
Yeah, trying to bring my whatever credentials I have to
Yeah.
support you guys.
Yeah, we're raising the bar as far as what's no more low hanging fruit here. We're only Pro Tour champions from now on.
Oh, yeah, we set the
But
standard.
you've got so we're playing standard today, and
Speaking of standard,
before we get to our bracket, you've been getting ready for the Zendikar Rising Championship next weekend, which is standard and historic.
yes.
Which format are you more into?
Well, standard has like a number of decks that you can play, but a lot of them are hashed out. So historic, I think, is where you can do a little bit more tuning because it's been less explored.
Right, sure.
Standard's about picking your metagame call, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you have, I don't know, let's say about 20 hours left to submit your, or I'm sorry, 30 hours left to submit your deck list. So
Yeah, coming
are
down
you
to the
done?
wire.
No, oh yeah, you're not done yet?
We locked in standard a little bit before, and I got
Okay.
to work on historic for these last couple for the last day.
All right. Well, cool. Well, we appreciate you taking some time out to be with us here for the next couple hours. We have
Yeah, it's kind of like testing, to watch some of these high level
yeah.
players play some standard.
Yeah, that was the way I was trying to pitch it to Caroline also. I was like, yeah, you can practice for your pro tour just by being here and watching
Exactly.
how things play out. So we actually have an exciting top 8. I think we have some recognizable names, both from the Nerd Rage series and from the greater Magic community, including Christian Calcano, who snuck in at 8th place, who is going to be playing against our 1 seed Gabriel Nicholas, and that will be our feature match. Mono Green Food versus Dimir Rogues. Just to briefly go over the rest of them, we have Oscar Garcia versus
I think
Mr.
it's
Comza with Gruul Aggro. Fabrizio Anteri, Dimir Control versus Andrew Fiedler playing Temur Adventures. Andrew Fiedler actually previously won one of our trials, I believe. And we have Carson Bell in Gruul Aggro against Sebastian Perron playing 4-color cycling. So I would say the most surprising entry into the top 8 is probably the cycling deck, as we don't see too much of that anymore. Are you on board with that, or am I wrong?
Yeah, I ran into cycling during some of the league play. A different Sebastian was playing it, or no, that was Simon Gertzen, not Sebastian. But yeah, Simon Gertzen was playing it, and he was doing well against a couple because the Rogues deck, mills you a lot, so it sets up your Zenith Flares, and Zenith Flare
Mm-hmm.
also gains a whole bunch of life, so it's okay against Gruul aggro too. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see Rogues
Mm-hmm.
Adventures or Mono Green Food.
Right. Okay. So out of the 8 decks here, like, is there anything that surprises you? Anything that you think was the most expected, or the most, like, I think we have 2 Gruul aggros, and all singletons aside from that. Was there a deck that you would have expected to see more copies of?
Uh, Mono Green Food, I think, was probably the best deck going into last week, but
Mm-hmm.
I think more people are starting to pick up these like Temur style decks that are pretty good at fighting it. Mono Green Food really doesn't like it when you try to go bigger than it, so
Right.
it makes sense that the Temur and the Mere Control are both strategies that you can see popping up.
Yeah, that was my experience playing Food. Also, is that when someone, whether or not they cast Ugin, if Ugin was even in their deck, then I was unhappy.
Yeah, you just see the warning sign.
Right. So I don't know how close we are to being ready to go, but if we have the deck lists for our 1-8 players, let's go ahead and take a look at them now. So we have Christian Calcano with Blueback Rogues. We see 2 Lull Mage Dominations, which is one of the cards that kind of can vary in number in the deck. What else is signifying of the specifics of this build, would you say?
He split all of his removal spells 2/2. He's got Miser's Essence Scatter. But I think the important thing for this matchup against Mono Green Food is you take you turn over to those 1 drops. You see 4 Ruin Crabs. Mono green food's not the best at pressuring life totals, so if Christian draws a pair of those, or maybe one rune crab and two of his fabled passages, he might win the game without dealing lethal combat damage.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Gabriel Nicholas's deck. We've seen both these players on camera already today, and we saw this one of Witch's Oven, which I will admit that I criticized somewhat, actually played a fairly big role so far today, but again, it's just a one of. We see one Primal Might as opposed to some decks with higher numbers of that card, and only one Scavenger use. So if you're building a mono green food deck to beat rogues, this probably isn't exactly how you would draw things up.
Yeah, you might want a little bit more. I think the way that Gabriel Nicholas will win this matchup, if he does, is he steals a win by reanimating a feasting Troll King that gets flipped, maybe in the early turns of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he's cut down to just one Witch's Oven, and he's even shaved on a Trail of Crumbs. So not the most ways to make food.
Right. This does
Kind
have
of
a couple of
concerning.
Vivians, which I do like Vivian against rogues, but I'm more used to seeing it in sideboard games. So we are ready to get started with our first top 8 match, and we're going to be watching Christian Calcano's perspective, and there is a Ruin
There it
Crown on
is.
top on turn 1. Like you were saying, and there is a fetch land in hand.
Festland all ready to go too.
This
Although you
is
might want to take him off the mana first.
mm-hmm. And then
Yeah, it looks like he agrees.
nice. This is a nice hand though. This Wind Robber will be online before too long, and Trailer Crumbs. Okay, that's nice, but I don't know. I feel like in my experience, like this food deck doesn't want to get too far behind on the board. Card advantage is only going to matter so much.
Yeah, the rogue deck can actually put you on a pretty fast clock. They get you coming and going because they can mill you, they can deck you, they can kill you with a bunch of flying lords, merfolk style.
Mm-hmm. And another Florahedron. Now, if it's me, I'm letting this in, but some thought is obviously being given to the option here. Okay, it does resolve.
Yeah, the draws lining up nicely for Calcano because you always want to make sure you have at least one way to mill your opponent in your opening hand with rogues.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you might get clogged up on a bunch of offline Drown of the Locks and 7 mana into the stories. Got a nice draw here.
Right. So we see the Scryland come down instead of the fetch land to probably because there's no plan using the mana
He missed a damage there.
by playing the land post combat. Yeah, we're right about that.
Christian opting to utilize the emote function, of course.
So okay, let's see. This is our turn?
That's a bad sign for
Yeah.
Gabriel Nicholas. That card's okay. I think that card is good enough, especially since Christian has 2 of the mind control. What is it? Low Mage's dominant. Yeah, Low Mage's domination in his deck.
Yeah.
Definitely think you want to handle the oven there, especially since he doesn't have enough mana to make another threatening play.
So another Florahedron comes down. Yeah, and with the
there it is.
The Troll Kings obviously are much better when the Witch's Oven stays in play.
Yeah.
And this is this is not
Went by a second one.
starting out well for Gabriel Nicholas. Lurrus comes into hand, and there's one counter at the ready.
Well, that being said, a 1 Troll King can bring back a friend. So
Yeah.
He's powered through all the counter magic so far. What he really needs is maybe a Gilded Goose, but no, Christian has that. He's the answer for that too. It's a little nice little attack here.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get it done somehow, but 1 damage on turn 6 is not too exciting.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to need something other than. Oh, and he can't even top deck the last Feasting Troll King. Yeah.
Yeah.
27 cards left in deck. Okay, still a ways away from that. Probably will get pecked in the air to death before he runs out of gas.
So I don't think there's a
4
creature.
Troll Kings, 1 Great Henge. 1, 2 Wicked Wolves. Like he's looking at the okay.
Right.
There's that'll deal with a Wicked Wolf pretty well.
Yeah. So some options here. Luris plus Robber, or just Luris and hold up Heartless Act.
Yeah, Luris hold up Heartless Act would be nice against Wicked Wolf, but I think Christian's far ahead enough that he doesn't need to. He can just get the value.
Okay, well, that's a decent way for Nicholas to try and stay in this game.
Yeah, note that the token does not die to Heartless Act, but the Planeswalker does die to Bloodchief's Thirst.
Yeah.
It goes to 4, right? Yeah, so he can just pick off the token. All right, make sure you don't cast Heartless Act. Yeah.
He could remove Rage from the token. That would work too.
Yeah.
Not the most efficient way to do it, maybe, but
don't do it.
Work.
Oh, yeah. See, I think I like the play of killing the token better than attacking down the Vivian. So this way. Although I suppose that he has Luris.
Right. And I guess if he has nothing else to play, then it doesn't cost him anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a little crisis averted there. Gave me a little sweat there. Yeah.
All right. And Gabriel Paxton, as the Vivian is gone, and he doesn't believe he has a route left to victory. So, Calcano up a game, pretty clean, pretty quick. Sideboard options, probably got some more removal. Looks like Anti-Cognition was the first card in.
I think I like the extra Cling to Dust, and looks like he doesn't want to rely on Lull Mage's domination when there's a potential for Witch's Oven to come down, even though it's only one copy.
Right. So we saw earlier today, actually, in this, I believe it was the same matchup, and Calcano played game 2 with no Lull Mage dominations, and game 3 with all of them.
Interesting. So maybe he's played Draw Consideration.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and look at what Gabriel's going on in his sideboard. We have, the cards on the left are obviously the winners in this matchup.
I think you probably want some of the cards on the right as well. Ram through to pick off some of those pesky rogues, and Vivian to provide some reach.
Right. I like Vivian a lot against rogues.
Questing Beast, if you have enough to get rid of, but I'm not. Let me pull up Nicholas's deck list.
I'm not a big fan of Questing Beast in the matchup because it can't get through the Enforcer on the ground once the 8 cards are in the graveyard. But okay, we'll see how things play out here. Gabriel Nicholas on the play in game 2 with a Gilded Goose to start things off. And go ahead.
No, the Goose is his best play because it does, if it sticks around, let you get those Troll Kings online.
Yeah.
Which is his best path to victory, in my opinion. Calcano is working with not too much gas, but the spells he does have are good, at least.
Yeah, really a lot of lands, though. Anti-Ignition will be fine eventually.
Yeah, he's already on his way to the 3rd food token, which is pretty important in this matchup.
Right.
Looks like he's going to get his man here.
So this is going to be...
doing it in response so that he can get multiple triggers.
Right. So that'll dump 4 cards. But not enough to turn it on, so Gabriel does not have to expend the food in order to pick off the Enforcer. And now with an indestructible-ish creature on the board, this is already looking not great for Calcano, who is sitting on quite a few lands.
You can always just 1-for-1 your opponent to put cards in their graveyard.
Yeah, okay. I suppose. Tale of Crumbs is going to... Okay, that's going to get countered, which makes some sense.
It's a good idea to fight over the food tokens.
Yeah, with Goose and Wicked Wolf in play. I mean, those... Trail of Crumbs is going to be at its best.
Land drop? Okay, yeah, it does have them.
Yeah, that definitely mattered. Yeah,
Escape pressure.
Yeah, this is looking all right. Now the chain web is not, as we saw earlier today, really gets better when Witch's Oven exists to be able to throw it in the graveyard. And things continue on. This Wicked Wolf is going to be
And he
it's gonna be
doesn't
a lot to
have.
do. I mean, Calcano doesn't currently have a way to really mess with this at all.
Yeah, he sided out his low mage's dominations.
Yeah, and it's just going to take chunks out of his life. Kind of unopposed for now. I mean, maybe the Lurrus, if there's no removal spell, then the Lurrus coming in will be able to deal with it eventually, but with just recurring blockers. For now, though, it's going to chew up an Enforcer.
Yeah, it looks like he's opting to preserve his life total. It's probably a bad idea to attack with it because he wants to chain web in the graveyard anyway. So you might as well get your food token and 3 life out of the deal.
No play there from Gabriel. I would have liked, I think, to make the food on his own turn so that Calcano couldn't kill the wolf in response to the goose making of food.
How much mana did he have up?
Gabriel didn't spend any mana on his own turn.
No, Calcano.
On Gabriel's turn, I don't think he had any.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. You don't want to put the shields down if you don't have to.
Yeah. I might be wrong about that, but I don't think he had any. Okay, so we see things continue on here, and
Okay, we're passing this test.
yeah, that's kind of the hidden mode on anti-ignition, actually hitting a planeswalker.
Eliminate being awkward as well. Although I suppose Heartless Act would not kill Wicked Wolf at this stage either. Does have a fetch land to go with that Ruin Crab, but I don't know if he has the time.
Yeah, certainly creatures in the graveyard to cast, but yeah, it's just a matter of, I mean, could the Lurrus actually survive? And if it can, then Calcano is probably okay. And if it can't, then none of these cards are really going to bail him out.
Yeah, that is the power of Lurrus.
Both
I
cards
guess
are
you could kill the Gilded Goose, though.
That's true.
Although I think he might have to shuffle away that second card that he scried at the top, if that is his plan.
I mean, if we're kept to eliminate, we almost have to be killing the goose right now, right? Because otherwise, what are we doing with it? Yeah, that is what's happening.
I
think
Calcano might have not thought all the way ahead on that one.
Yeah,
well, that's okay. It's just a crab.
It doesn't really cost him anything because he shuffled.
It's a random.
Yeah. So really now, this really depends on, like, can Gabriel kill the Lurrus? And that's who's ahead. If he kills it, he's in great shape. If he can't, this could get away from him.
Okay, let's take a look at the graveyard along with Calcano. Looks like he's milled over the Primal Might, but he still has the rest of his removal in his deck. So 3 Wicked Wolves, 2 Ram Throughs potentially. Not the best odds. He's 2 mana away from Kolga the Titan Ape, so it's really just, yeah. Lurrus is pretty... Oh, here's another answer, though. Does not have to kill the Lurrus.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Cut off the graveyard here.
Right. That's huge.
Yeah, now I think it's just end of the story or bust.
And
replacement goose.
Taps out for a goose. All right. And Calcano draws another land. I mean, he does have the cycle land, which sure will scry first.
Yeah, the 2 lands he has are his utility land. Whoa! Yeah, that Gilded Goose is a lot scarier now. Well, that's the card he needs. So,
yep. But it's going to be a extra turn away. We can't cycle into it and cast it this turn. And this is, well, he's got a little bit of time.
You can see that the Trump block on the Wicked Wolf paid off pretty well because now these Troll Kings are a turn away.
Mm-hmm. So let's see what Gabriel does here. I mean, can you realistically not attack and just make food? That feels pretty bad. Maybe you're willing to trade it off at this point, although that would surprise me also. I'm not sure. I don't know what I would do here.
I mean, you need to get the game over with, but this engine is a little tough. I might start shipping with the What does attacking with the spider do? I guess you don't have a fifth land.
Well, if attacking with the spider, it just gets blocked by the Hedron Crab, so it doesn't actually do anything.
Oh, you're right.
All right, so the food does trade here for the Enforcer, and then the Ooze picks it off. And yeah, I mean, the Troll King is a great finisher, but if the Lurrus is shut down, Calcano is going to need more help to just deal with the board that already exists. Now with no more Death Touch, the Scavenging Ooze can start attacking.
He's gonna look at 5 fresh cards.
Yeah, I mean, that is
But
significant.
Gabriel's board is pretty good. The Oink Mage himself. Looks like he's just gonna leave up Gilded Goose. Mystical Dispute's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Oh, Aghanim's Awakening is not what you want to see now.
No, okay, we can mill 6 cards. Or I'm sorry, we can mill 12 cards. I'm not sure how many there are in there.
Hopefully, 17.
17? Yeah.
Not too bad. So down to 12 with a fetch land. Then 2 more lands in hand. A counterspell at the ready. Not the best one, but you might take it.
Yeah. So I don't. Hedron Crab wouldn't have to block this turn, but the turn after they probably would.
Yeah, I might throw Lurrus under the bus at this point. Not doing too much.
Right. Yeah, and with the Scavenging Ooze on the board, it's not going to get any better.
Let's see what else. Take a look at the graveyard there. Trying to make sure he understands what options are left.
Pace of play is definitely slowed down here as the players try and figure out how to navigate the end of this game here. And here we have the other 6 cards getting milled in. No attacks, obviously. And then Calcano continuously evaluating what's in Gabriel's graveyard. Maybe trying to get a grasp of, what's left in the deck or of how Gabriel sideboarded in case this game goes the way it looks like it might. This Ooze up to 7/7 now. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 land in play. So with there's no food for the Gilded Goose. But it is going to be blocked here, as I believe the castle.
I don't know about that because
that was.
I think the crab is his path to victory here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he thinks he'll tap out for the spider.
But that even doesn't seem. I mean, there's no real reason to do that. I don't.
Yeah,
think.
Gabriel's just going to tighten the noose here.
Yeah. That's an alternative route to a lot more food in the future.
Yeah, the troll might come back now. And that card does have trample, and it's a lethal attacker.
Right. So are you willing to give up? Let's see. Are you willing to give up your Ooze or your Wolf for it? Okay. Scissors, no. Now also the Wicked Wolf is a lethal attacker because the Witches Oven can make food in response to it being not blocked if that were to happen.
He can take away the lifelink too, potentially, by destroying that creature.
Right. Yeah, this is looking like Gabriel Nicholas will be able to stretch this out to a game 3.
A little too much land from the rogue player here.
Too much land, and then, this Ooze shutting down the Awakenings. Dispute just... I'm not even sure Gabriel's cast a spell, aside from the Witches Oven, since the Dispute was drawn.
I think if my math is correct, it's 9 cards left, something in that range. He's not going to have enough time to get 3 Ruin Crab triggers, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. He's probably going to have to block with it right now.
Both of them.
Yeah, like you were saying.
It's going to put him to the test, I suppose.
Yeah, might as well. I think if you sacrifice, there's not going to be a bounce spell, right? So if you sacrifice a food first, then you'll know you're good to go. Oh.
Nah, too much respect, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. So that didn't.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough play to use Witch's Oven on your scavengers in order to take away lifelink and also sacrifice 3 food.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can get you there.
Is there really though? I mean, are a lot of things that can deal with the wolf that aren't? Um,
Although, yeah, looking at Calcano's deck list, I don't think there are
yeah.
but maybe Gabriel was just a little autopilot there playing around,
Sure.
trying to be conservative.
Yeah.
Gonna get the
Okay.
win nonetheless.
Clean to Dust could have gained life to have blown out that play. I think that's about it. I don't see a bounce spell, so it's really just
We'll see what.
removal, which wouldn't matter. So anyway, Gabriel does take that game down. Maybe could have made it slightly easier on himself, but he was pretty far ahead anyway and comfortably rolls up the victory. So Calcano has the play in game 3, and all the mystical disputes are in.
As well as the Law Mage's dominations now. Oh, there they go.
No, that was the disputes. Oh, yeah,
Law Mages are back out, disputes are back in. It looks like he's playing around with his exact configuration.
yeah, or else he's just screwing with us. All right, so it looks like the disputes are likely to stay in. Let's go ahead and jump over to Gabriel's sideboard again. And we saw Ooze, we saw Chainweb.
Yeah, now that he's on the draw, I think the question of questing beast is probably a little bit less likely.
Mm-hmm. And we saw those Wind Robbers, at least spending some time in the sideboard. So those Chainwebs are not as good, but they still have a lot of value just as a way to eat up your own graveyard, to shut down the anti-reverse threshold mechanic, whatever. I don't know if it was actually a name for that, but I think anti-reverse threshold mechanic is fine, right? I mean,
Rose stuff.
Yeah, sure. I guess that's an easier way. It uses less letters, less syllables. But
Yeah.
I do like the Vivian potential as out of the expensive cards, and otherwise I like all the cheap stuff for Gabriel.
Yeah,
So when
this
the
green
players,
food deck kind of does its thing. It's not. There's not a lot of play draw considerations in the rogues deck. You've got like your counter magic and your 1-drops. Tempo matters a lot more.
All right, so we are into game 3, and looked like the first 7 for Calcano I don't think had any land at all, and this 6 has 1 plus a fake 1 or sort of land, so that's good enough. This is certainly actually, I mean, it's a 2-land, it's a 1.5 land hand that can actually cast all the spells that it has, so that's great.
It's got the early Miller plus.
Yeah, and that Witch's Oven shows up again. Gabriel has hit that consistently in the games that we watched today.
Now we really need to cling to dust here. Oh, there's food number 1.
Yeah. So
there was have the drown in the lock though.
There was the option of countering that, but well, that accelerates the mill plan considerably.
Yeah, let's see here. This is 10 cards getting milled this turn. That is quite a fair bit.
Now, is it 10?
He's got 6 from the crab, it's more than that.
It's 14, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
So it's 14 cards going right now. Now, that's not going to be obviously steady because there aren't any more lands currently in Calcano's hand, but it's certainly a great start. And then we have the Thieves Guild Enforcer in hand. Here's a Lovestruck Beast.
Another 2 cards milled from the Thieves Guild Enforcer.
I'm sorry?
Another 2 cards into the graveyard as well.
Right. Yeah.
I'm surprised that he didn't make a troll that turn. Is that better than a Lovestruck Beast? He could wait to make the troll when he has the mana available to pay for the Trail of Crumbs, though. That might be his plan.
Sure, that would definitely. Although, even if that's the next turn, because you can't really block this turn, so we're taking 6 damage and going to 12. Next turn, if you spend all your mana turning Trail of Crumbs into cards, that's not developing the board, and then you're taking another 6.
Yeah, I like this play. I don't think that you want to leave up Drown in the Lock. The worst case scenario is a Wicked Wolf, but I think that you outrace that anyway because you mill another, you mill another 4 cards this way, 2 from the Thieves Guild trigger and 2 from the attack trigger. That's definitely your win condition right now.
I think the Lovestruck Beast might have to block here.
Yeah, I think that's a trade that he's going to have to make.
I guess he could sacrifice it in response. I was thinking you would just trade, though.
Yeah, block and sack doesn't really solve the problem because then your Troll
Right.
King just meets the
Same.
same fate. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this okay. This is how it's going to play out. It does get
Might
sacrificed. So let's see what does Gabriel have to do here.
It's got to be Wicked Wolf, maybe. Troll King does not solve the milling problem or the flying damage problem.
right. So it is a Wicked
All right,
Wolf.
does pass the first test here, and it looks like he's more worried about the milling. He
Okay.
can stop the ground pounding from the Thieves Guild Enforcer.
So now do you bring in Troll also? Yep, here it is.
I think you just got to ignore the value from the trail, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Gabriel still has. Oh, Gabriel
That
still has plenty of cards in hand.
if that comes online with another island,
Yeah.
I don't think the game will last much longer.
So Enforcer attacking here. I have to imagine the Wicked Wolf's trading off.
Could see another block and sack from the Troll King because it sort of replaces itself 2/3 of the way if you do that
Right.
play.
But how does that? That doesn't
Probably
really.
doesn't. Yeah, he needs to win the race. You're right.
Right. I mean, his deck is dwindling. Okay, we do see a block,
And just let it
and
go to damage. Yeah.
now Calcano can this Drown the Lock can hit anything at this point.
Yeah, now is the correct turn to hold up mana. Previously, you could play the Lord and then get all your pressure going. Now you have enough of a clock.
All right. Well, Gabriel is not going to win by doing nothing, so we need to see
I think
something here.
Land Spider is probably his best play.
That would
There's
be
not really a way for him to do two spells in one turn.
no.
Gilded Goose to chump block and make some food for that second Troll King. Yeah, Gilded Land, Gilded Goose, and Wicked Wolf, but that is a tall order from 4 cards.
There's definitely options here as Gabriel is thinking through his turn.
I suppose he does have a castle, so it could be no, just a regular Wicked Wolf. Not gonna cut it. Needed a double spell here. Let's see if he has a land and a 1-drop. Does not.
Okay, that doesn't do anything. So I Primal Might would win the game.
That is true. He does have an out.
I don't know how much else. I guess a
A
land for
remote.
spy a land for
A,
spider could stabilize things.
yeah, that is true. Land Spider picks off a Soaring Thought Thief and generates a blocker. That'd be a
Yeah,
big swing. That might be enough to win the game, actually.
yeah.
Christian has had a couple couple inefficient turns here.
I mean, Gabriel still has 4 cards. What is? I mean, it's just got to be expensive stuff.
Yeah, he's missed too many land drops.
Yeah.
He didn't have a goose, and he didn't. He's might be maybe a third Wicked Wolf as an option.
Yeah, even a goose by itself is enough
I think you
to
want to chop block here.
stay alive.
Guess that's now or never anyway. I think I would have liked the chump block there because he doesn't have a third black source to go Luris bring back Thieves Guild. And if he draws an island, it's pretty locked up too. Oh,
Well,
he does have an extra Ruin Crab. No, you're right. Okay, so that he can still play Luris and get something back in the same turn.
I mean, Gabriel is really thinking through this turn.
Yeah, he probably doesn't have a lot of cards left in his deck. Looks like 11 there in the corner.
Well, 11's enough.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
would
I'm,
have to
I'm
be.
assuming that Gabriel
He's
has to
actually.
win next turn, or
He's
else there's no way.
interestingly enough, he's actually dead to a Fable Passage. Luris, play the dead crab. Yeah, more Wicked Wolves. Yeah, so
That
Any land here does the trick. Oh, but not that one. Ah.
Oh man.
Okay, so
Was
all right. So the play looks like Luris get a dead crab, try to chump block because he has a lot of toughness now with all these crabs.
right.
Try to chump block your way out of this one. He can mill
How many
8 cards
cards?
this turn, but he has 11.
He had
Still,
11. So now he has 5, and so he'd be going to 3.
I think, does attacking here do anything for you?
Okay,
I
he
said
has 3 cards left.
it makes it. Yeah, so I'm not sure there. There was a way to play around Primal Might.
Well, now
He
so
might have seen it in the graveyard though. There's only 2 cards left in his deck.
one went over in the last turn cycle, I think. So now one more attack from the Thought Thief will finish off the deck.
Another land, another Thought Thief attack.
Right.
I just think that he's got too much.
Man, Gabriel cannot buy a land here.
Yeah, that spider not showing up on time might have been able to win in the game, but
All right, so here comes Troll King.
Calcano certainly made us sweat it.
All right, so 2 crabs go down. Now land kill the Thought Thief is not enough because the Luris would still end the game with the Diesel Enforcer. Let's see, what could do this? Scavenging Ooze would work.
No, but then you
No,
can't
it wouldn't.
the creatures in play. This is not. He's just not. He does have the castle, so land, and then a combination of these cards would do it. But he hasn't demonstrated that he has one in his hand.
No, I mean, if he's still holding one, he's really sandbagging it this turn.
Yeah, he'd have to draw it. He'd have to draw it this turn, and he's trying to map it out. But there is a lot of threats to deal with, so I don't blame him taking his time, trying to make sure trying to see if there is a way that he can deal with all of these different angles of attack, the damage, the milling. He's got 1 life and 2 cards left in deck.
Yeah. So even though a Wicked Wolf isn't enough now, because you have to deal there's an Enforcer in the graveyard. I'm almost positive. So the Luris by itself is lethal.
No,
yeah, that's it.
It's too many.
That is it. That ended up being pretty close, but Christian
Calcano. It's the old mill him and kill him, as I like to say. Get him coming and going.
Yeah, it feels like you're attacking at 2 different angles, and sometimes you come up a little short on both. And this time it got there. It was enough.
Yeah.
So Calcano beats our number 1 seed, Gabriel Nicholas, and advances to the top 4. And we are right now jumping into game 3 of our match. Let's go ahead and see it. We have Andrew Fiedler with Temur Adventures against Fabrizio Anteri with Dimir Control. And it looks like, there is a Ashiok at 6, but both players have a lot of cards. Andrew has missed some land drops, which is not good in this deck, and 3 Mystical Disputes in hand.
So even though he doesn't have a lot of mana, he might be able to enter a double spell here. Although the 2 spells he plays will not be particularly powerful, considering one is just removing 2 loyalty from Ashiok.
Right. And I mean, these tokens are swing with the 3 tokens, make a 4th token, and then next turn they'll end it.
Yeah, we're back to mill him and kill him here.
Yeah. Or we could even see ultimate next turn on the Ashiok. Or do we hit it with Bone Crusher?
Yeah. He did put a stop to that line of play.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to see before.
Looks like he's just going to put him to the test of the right click test, as I like to call it.
Yeah. Well, most players don't fail that one, but once in a while. But yeah, this looks like a hand that just didn't develop for whatever reason, and
gonna pack it in now. It looks like.
Yeah, Fabrizio Anteri is going to attack for the win to advance the top 4, joining Calcano and the other players that we'll see once this match is over. We'll have a bracket ready to go.
I think it does make sense that this blue-black deck would pick up the win here. Like Elspeth's Nightmare is pretty good against Edgewall Innkeeper, and the counter spells will stop your ramp plan. The Adventures are pretty good against counter spells, but there's a lot going on in the Temur deck, and Fabrizio's deck does handle most of the game plans.
Yeah. Okay. So that sounds like it's going to conclude the top 8, and we have a bracket updated, ready to go, so we can see who actually moved on for the matches we didn't see, and then we'll take a short break and be back for the top 4. So we're going to see Christian Calcano, who we saw with Dimir Rogues, facing Carson Bell on Gruul Adventures, and then, hold on, I have this now, Yoravas Komza against Fabrizio Anteri, Gruul Adventures versus Dimir Control. So Gruul Adventures advances on both sides of the bracket against a Dimir deck on both sides, but two very different Dimir decks.
I think. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask you if you could choose one of these players and you could sit down in their seat with their matchup. Where would you want to be?
I think Fabrizio's got. If Fabrizio runs into Calcano, I think Calcano gets the better end of that exchange. Calcano's deck's a little bit more lean and efficient, got more cheap cards in it, but he's got to get through a Gruul Adventures player to get to that part of the tournament. I think I'd like to be Fabrizio. I think I would like my chances against Gruul, and I think I would bet on Calcano going down to Gruul.
Okay, and then you'd have the same matchup again. All right, well, that is Eli Loveman's choice of where he'd like to sit. We're going to see how it plays out after a short break. Stick around. We'll be